both of these teams, this game is a must-win. Points allowed, Houston's first in points that they allow, only 12.8 points a game, while the Ravens are dead last, 33.2. Welcome to Just the Stats NFL, the show that covers the NFL statistical leaders from the all-time greats to the current players leading the NFL. My name's Ernie Jennings, and we're going to be doing a pregame on the Houston Texans versus the Baltimore Ravens. And I've decided to change it up a little bit. I was doing too much, I thought, on fantasy football. You can find that a lot of places, and I do like fantasy football. But I really like, and what I'm doing here is a little different than other ones. I do like the top 10s. I like seeing what players are moving up in the NFL rankings or on their team rankings, whether it's in a game, season, or career level. So I'm going to try to do those top 10s during this, and then also just stick to the game numbers more than who's a fantasy guy. I will mention who's leading in the fantasy numbers when I do my Wednesday standings and statistics episode. But when I do these pre-games, post-games, I won't focus on the fantasy unless I might mention somebody being hurt that you would have on a fantasy team. So with that being said, let's look at the top 10 in this game. We'll start with the Baltimore Ravens, who are 1-3, and we'll look at top 10s. First one up, top 10s we're going to be watching for in the upcoming game. Mark Andrews is going to need a huge game, so I doubt that he gets there, but he's number 2 all-time in Baltimore Ravens history for receptions. He's got 5,000, or receiving yards, I should say, receiving yards. He's got 5,658. He's going to need 120 yards to catch Derek Mason's, who's number 1 all time. Mason played from 2005 to 2010. Now, he was a wide receiver. Mark Andrews is a tight end trying to take over this position. This may take him a couple weeks. I mean, based on his first 2 games, it would have taken him forever. But the fact that he's been producing a little bit better now, could see him overtake number 1 position. I mean, it's possible he could do it this week. Probably not. He's already number 1 in touchdowns receiving. But Rashad Bateman's trying to move into the top 10. He's actually in a tie for 11th with 14 receiving touchdowns. He needs 1 to tie Travis Taylor, who played from 2000 to 2004, to move into a tie for 10th with 15. So he'll be looking to get that 1 touchdown. And besides Rashad Bateman, also Isaiah Likely, who's back now, also has 14 receiving touchdowns. So both of them are looking to move into the top 10. So it'll be interesting to see who does. It's a long ways from the touchdown total that Mark Andrews has of 53. But they can move into the top 10. All right. One more. Marlon Humphrey for the Ravens is looking to move into a tie for 5th with Rod Woodson in interceptions. He has 19. Marlon Humphrey does. Rod Woodson has 20, as does Dwayne Starks. They both have 20. So Marlon Humphrey, with 1 interception, can move into a tie for 4th all time for the Baltimore Ravens. So he'll be looking to do that. Probably never catch Ed Reed, who's number 1 with 61. Now, we also have Nnamdi Madubuike, who's trying to move up this list as far as tackles for loss. Right now, he's tied for 10th with 42. He just needs 1 to tie C.J. Mosley with 43, who's in 9th all time. So he'll be doing that. So there's a lot of top 10s to watch for in this game as far as the Baltimore Ravens go. You've got Mark Andrews. You've got both wide receiver and tight end in Rashad Bateman and Isaiah Likely. You've also got Marlon Humphrey on defense. And then you have Ndamdi Madubuike on defense as well. Now, in this game, key injury for the Ravens, that's quarterback Lamar Jackson. He's doubtful. He's got a hamstring issue. At the time of me putting this out, he was doubtful. So we'll have to see what happens with him. Now, for the Houston Texans, they are also 1-3. For them, I have a couple of top tens to watch for, both on defense. And that's Derek Stingley's trying to get that one more interception. He's got 12. He's tied for fourth with Andre Hall with 12. One more, he ties Dante Robinson for third all-time with 13 interceptions. So we'll be watching Derek Stingley on defense. And then also on defense, you've got Will Anderson trying to move into the top 10 all-time in sacks. Actually, I'm sorry, tackles for loss. So tackles for loss, Anderson's trying to move in. He's got 31. He's 11th right now. Jamie Sharper has 32, as does Jonathan Grenard, who has 32. One more for Will Anderson. He'll move in from 11th, actually, all the way to a tie for 9th. So we'll be watching those two players. No key injuries for the Baltimore Ravens. All right, let's look at this game and see what we think about who might win this game. As I've said, they're both 1-3. The game is at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, so the Ravens have that advantage. I tell you, these two teams are something. Now, as far as offense goes, Houston Texans are 25th in the NFL in total yards, averaging just under 289 yards a game. The Ravens are 13th, averaging 338, so distinct advantage, a 50-yard advantage for Ravens right there. Points scored, the Houston Texans are 29th right now, averaging only 16 points a game. The Baltimore Ravens are third, almost averaging 33 a game. 33 points a game, just about. So those two numbers just point toward the Ravens. Rushing yards, Houston's offense is just not good all the way around. 23rd in rushing with 103 yards a game. The Baltimore Ravens are 9th with 133. But you got to factor in, Jackson, who will be probably out of this game for that. And then in passing yards, they're a little closer here. 23rd for Houston with 185 yards a game. The Ravens are 18th with 204. So a little closer there. Now on defense, this is where the script flips. Right now, Houston's got the fifth best defense in total yards allowed with 280, while the Baltimore Ravens are 31st, giving up almost 407 yards a game, over 400 yards a game. That's just not good. Now, Baltimore's defense is riddled with injury. They have so many players, starters out right now. I don't know if they're going to be able to survive it until they can get back. On both of these teams, this game is a must-win. Points allowed, Houston's first in points that they allow, only 12.8 points a game, while the Ravens are dead last, 33.2. So Texans giving up 13 points a game. Ravens giving up 33. That's incredible. 20-point difference right there per game. Definite advantage the Texans here. The problem with Houston is they can't score. So they're holding teams down. It has to be a close game. They've only scored 64 points. The Ravens have scored 131. So they're scoring 3 times as many points, or double the points, I should say, double the points per game. Just makes it hard for the Texans, despite how good your defense is, to hold teams to win a game when you can't hold them to, you just can't score yourself, I should rather say. You just can't score yourself. It makes it hard for your defense. Now, who do we think is going to win here? I'm looking at some of these other stats right now. It's so one-sided each way, depending on which one you're going to go, which way you're looking, whether it's offensively or defensively. Now, looking at the defense, like I said, the Houston Texans have given up 51 points so far. The Ravens have given up 133. So despite the fact that the Ravens have scored 131 points. They've given up 133, which explains why you're 1-3. The Texans have only given up 7 touchdowns so far, but the Ravens have given up 16, so more than double there. And it just goes on like that. It's incredible the difference that's happened with these two teams. Baltimore Ravens, on fourth down conversions by other teams against them, have allowed 9 conversions on 11 attempts. That's 82% of the time they're letting teams make a fourth down conversion. And so what do we think when we're looking at these teams? Who can win? Let's look at the stats for the Texans. Stroud has just been average, 88.7 quarterback rating. He's, like I said, pretty average there. For the running backs right now, so far, Nick Chubb has been the leading running back. He's averaging 4 yards a carry. Marks has started to pick up the pace. He now has 113 yards, but he's been averaging 3.9. They both have a touchdown. So there's a thought that Marks is going to overtake Chubb at some point, but I don't know. We'll see. It could be a two-headed monster as far as running backs go, but neither one is just jumping off the pages at you as far as running goes. Looking at their wide receivers, obviously it's Nico Collins, but he's barely leading in receptions. He's only got 18 in this game. It's such a bad season for him with Stroud. Stroud cannot protect himself. The offensive line is horrible, and it's just making it hard to get the passes out to Nico Collins, who is one of the best receivers in the NFL. Only 18 catches, 260 yards is all he has so far. He's been targeted 31 times, which is by far the most on the team, but only 18 receptions. Now, Dalton Schultz, the tight end, 16 receptions for 126 yards. He's been targeted 21 times. He's the second leading receiver on the team. Now, Christian Kirk, you thought might coming back, being injured. He's played now 2 games, but even in 2 games, he's only got 6 catches for 45 yards. 6 catches on 12 targets, though. He's already, just playing 2 games, he's the third leading receiver being targeted. So we'll see if that continues, if they can get on the same page, him and Stroud, because he would be a nice intermediate receiver for Stroud to hit, not having to hold the ball quite so long. All right, that's a look at the Houston Texans. Taking a quick look at the Baltimore Ravens. Well, Lamar Jackson has been one of the best as far as quarterback rating right now. He's got 130.5 quarterback rating. Quite impressive. He probably won't play. Cooper Rush will come in. He has a quarterback rating of 76.4 in the little duty he had. Right now, Derrick Henry is leading the team in rushing with 49 carries for 284 yards, a 5.8 yard average. So it just doesn't make any sense that he's had 49 carries in 4 games. You know, we're talking about 12 carries a game. I'm not sure what's happening right now. I know it's game script somewhat, but even in the first half of last game, he just didn't have the carries. It's interesting what's happening with him. Lamar Jackson's second with 21 carries for 166 yards, 7.9 yards a carry. Justin Hill has 8 carries for 69 yards. So, which is strange because he has negative yards on his other 7 carries. He had a 71-yard touchdown. And so his other 7 carries got a -2 yards. So he's not the running back. He's only out there normally to catch a pass. Now, for receivers, it's just a mixture. You know, Zay Flowers right now is leading the team with 23 receptions for 305 yards. Not bad. By far the most targeted guy, 31 targets. Then you've got Mark Andrews, the tight end, with 15 targets. Really picked it up. I mean, the last 2 games, he's had 13 of those targets. Receptions. He's been targeted 18 times, 15 receptions, 128 yards. And here's where Justice Hill's been playing so much. Coming out of the backfield, 12 catches, 107 yards, and a touchdown. Been targeted 15 times. So other than Flowers, Bateman has been the number 1 receiver or number 2 receiver with 10 catches for 112 yards on 17 targets. DeAndre Hopkins, who they brought in, 5 catches for 112 yards. So same amount of yards as Bateman, but only 5 catches, half the catches. Now, Derrick Henry has come out of the backfield with 4 catches for 36 yards. Honestly, I'd keep him on the field. Threat as a run, even when it's first, second down, if you're gonna throw a short pass anyway to a running back like Justice Hill, let Derrick Henry run it for the same amount of yards. Hill's averaging 9 yards a reception. That's because he had a 37-yard reception at one point. So I don't know. Derrick Henry's too valuable to just let him sit and have 12 carries an entire game. Those are your receivers for Baltimore. So who do we think is going to win this game? Like I said, this is a must-win for both teams. They're both 1-3. They just can't afford to fall farther behind in their divisions. It's in Baltimore. I'm going to pick the Ravens, despite the fact that Jackson may not play. I just think they're going to put – it's going to be a tough game. Ravens could lose this game, but I'm going to pick them to win at home. They lead this series 13-2, and we'll see what happens, whether the Baltimore Ravens can actually beat the Houston Texans. But we'll find out this Sunday. All right, that's a wrap for this episode of Just the Stats NFL. You can find me on Just the Stats NFL at YouTube, also on your podcasting sites, Spotify, Apple, and any podcast site, podcast app. Also, you can find me at justthestatsnfl@gmail.com. All right, that is a wrap for this episode, and I'm out.